And I have no idea if this is going to work, but we have a commission to make basically giant plastic flowers for a beer garden. And so I'm making these big 2 foot flower petals that they're going to paint faces on. So, you know, like anthropomorphic flowers basically. And I've got 2 foot by 2 foot coreplast that is about 0.178 thick, so you know, under 1/4 inch. And I have no idea how it's going to cut. I haven't really seen any videos on cutting coreplast on OneFinity. I have no doubt it can be done. Whether I have the right bits or not, I suppose that's going to be seen. So we're going in here, and let me find, here's one of the biggest ones. So this is the outline of like a, what would this be, like a pansy, I think it is. So my wife did the rendering. I'm just doing the cutting here. So let's get this bigger and see what happens. Whoops. So I want to use up as much room as I can. And I guess I can go just a hair bigger. So what is this, 23? So let's just call these 23 so I can replicate this again. All right. Let's plug in my card and let's figure this out. So it's going to be a contour. Max depth is 0.178. That's about 1/100th thicker. It's like 177, or a couple thousandths, I should say. It was like 176, so it's a couple thousandths less. We want to go outside right so it maintains the actual shape. I can do it in one pass for sure. I'm just going to cut this whole thing as one. I'm just going to go to 100 because I've been pretty comfortable with that in wood. I don't know what that's going to do in coreplast. And yeah, I don't know. Let's just make sure it's going to cut right. Okay. So let's go ahead and save this as Pansy 1. I'll do Pansy Big Outline. All right. So let's head over to the machine and see what happens. All right, so we're going to get going here. This is the coreplast or Corex or whatever you want to call it. It is relatively thin, and yes, I know I have every potential of shattering this thing. I am still waiting for my 1/8 collet to show up. I've got some different bits that I can try, but they're all 1/8 inch shank. This is my only 1/4 to 1/8 inch that I've got. And if this doesn't work, I might just try using my 1/4 inch bit, but I'd rather not because I've got some detail cut in here that would really benefit from it. But I'm going to take the suggestion from a previous viewer here, or I should say from a viewer on a previous video. And I am going to, instead of wasting tape on the board, I am going to put the tape directly on my board so that I know exactly where it is. And it seems like a very obvious thing, but I didn't think of it, so I can't take credit for it. All right. So this is one giant cut, so I'm not too worried about having a bunch of tape on it. Let's try here. one down the middle, and one down the outside. Put it this way. So these are cut the same size as my MDF normally is, or at least pretty close. All right, there's that. Homing block on here. Probing block. Imperial probe. Too much tape on this thing. Alright, let's see if this works. We'll see what happens here. It's the one thing I'm finding by using the tape is that it just gums up the blade, so it doesn't necessarily get the conductivity that it needs. But hopefully I can get that resolved. Anything's possible here. Get you a better view. Working surprisingly well. that went really well. So we've got our bit raised. Let's get this out of the way. So there it is. It went a little deep on. It went just a little deeper. I probably could have gone a little less depth, but you know, it made a little bit of shavings. So just a couple areas where the glue was, it made a little bit of a mess. But otherwise, it's not looking too bad. And I'm going to cut out a few more here. All right, take two. So first one cut great, went fast, no issues, except I didn't take into account that I forgot Corex was kind of unidirectional, meaning that these little hollow tunnels through the Corex give it strength like this way, but allow it to very easily bend like this, which for the purpose of the person getting it isn't going to be great. So I'm going to be doing something a little different on the next one. I went ahead and took two pieces of the Corex and used the double stick tape between them and put them opposite. So this side is running this way, this side is running this way. So it'll give it, you know, still give it some flex, but it's not going to bend nearly as easily. So I think this is going to be a good option. I went ahead and adjusted my my code for the depth, and because I know exactly where it's going to cut, just because of how deep this went, and because this is cutting pretty easy, I'm going to simply put a little bit of tape kind of on the four corners of this cutout so that it catches the Corex but isn't going to be too much, and it should make it easier to release at the end here and not waste so much tape. So there's that. Okay. Let's go ahead and put the board down. And I probably need to reset my probe just to be safe. I don't know if I do, but I'm kind of assuming I do. And it's sort of an approximate corner because these two boards are a little overlapping, but it should be close enough to cut it just fine. Upload the new file. Alright, this one's going to take a whopping minute 20 now, so let's get started here. fingers crossed. I'm doing this all in one pass, but the Corex didn't seem to put up much resistance, so I'm pretty sure I'm okay here. Let's see how this went. So just barely, I'm gonna have to make it just a hair thicker because I didn't account for the thickness in tape between the two, and that added just a couple thousandths, which is apparent on the tape here. This one's still usable, but I'm going to adjust the code one more time and drop it down probably 3 thousandths just to make sure it gets probably 2 thousandths just to get a clean cut all the way around it here. All right. Might as well get the right tool. Alright, so I just have a little trimming on this one, but yeah, so that's much better, right? So you can see here, it's twice as thick. Once I get the depth set correctly, this will trim out great. I got to make probably 4 or 5 of these, but I'm really happy with how they sandwich together, and really strong for what we're going to be doing, but nice and lightweight. So I'm going to cut some of these, and then we'll pick back up. I have to cut the second part, which is sort of the face, and it's going to stick out a little bit. So let me knock out a few of these, and I'll be back. All right, we are going to cut the faces now. So these are okay in single layer, simply because there's going to be 4 of them, and they're smaller, and they're going to be supported by styrofoam. So I'm not as worried about that, but I am going to still go kind of light on the tape here. as I'm getting more comfortable with cutting and using the tape and stuff, I am getting a little better at how to use it smartly so that I'm not wasting it or causing more problems to myself. I don't always get it right, but I'm trying. So this should be just enough tape. Just enough tape to kind of cover 2 corners of every face. So I think this will work good. All right. And let's bring this back in. And we've got melted plastic on my bit, so there we go. All right. Let's get I'm going down in thickness over last time, so I'm going to reprobe it. To be fair, I don't know if that's totally necessary, but I'm assuming it is since I'm using a different thickness of wood. From what I've seen, maybe you guys know a trick, but it's just easier for me to reprobe it every time. And it doesn't take that long anyway. I guess for me, it just makes me feel better that at least I know I'm doing it right, even if there is a shortcut to it. All right. There's that. Let's get the program loaded. Pansy face. So this looks like it's going to be a 5-minute operation. I won't make you guys watch it, but we'll be back in just a second here. Okie dokie. So we got 4 of these cut out. Get that out of the way. So here's what's going to happen. Let me get the tape off this. So once these get painted, this will be, for instance, a face. So, you know, picture some eyeballs and whatnot. There will be Velcro on the back. So the face will be painted here. And then this is going to sit like this, more or less. And you can see that dimensionally it's going to stick out a little bit. So this will be like the back part of the head, and this is the front part of the head, and that will allow it to have some dimension. Obviously there'll be more Velcro and it'll attach more securely, but just for the sake of showing you guys what we're doing, that's what we're doing. And then they're going to use a PVC pole. This will be mounted up in the air, and I need to cut some leaves here, but for the purposes of this video, I'm all done. So we're going to knock out probably, well, I guess at least 3 more of these to match up for those 3 heads, and then I'll work on a different kind of flower that we will do in a different video. But there you go. This is our pansy person head, pansy flower anthropomorphic thing. So anyway, you know, customer wants it, you cut it. That's the way it works, right? Have a good one. We'll talk later.